What's up guys, welcome back to a new Dying Light 2 video. Before we get into the video, we're going to touch on a little bit of what Techland said yesterday. Basically, they released a whole Dying to Know More episode on the HUD and how we're going to be able to actually customize it and change it, get rid of the HUD if you want to. That's good for you guys that were worried about the HUD so badly. Definitely was not one of those people. I don't understand the whole thing still, but yeah. I'm more worried about the fact that we still don't have any last-gen gameplay 50 days out from release, under 50 days out from release. I think some of you guys out there should be able to figure out which one's a bigger priority. With that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and get into the leaked map. My source for all of this information is Gerald from Discord. He's given us quite a lot of information over months and maybe it's even years now. So as always, that is definitely always appreciated. So basically the leak comes from this Polish website where they're talking about general Dying Light 2 stuff the whole time in the article. Then at the bottom of the article, we actually see some text and a picture. It is worth adding that today a fragment of final Dying Light 2 map appeared on Twitter. The artwork was supposed to be mistakenly added by the developers to public server. Unfortunately, we are still waiting for the final version of the material. So it's a little bit weird how they word this because it's translated from Polish. But basically what I'm getting from it, a developer mistakenly uploaded this on Twitter and I would assume ended up deleting it shortly after. So it's a little bit suspicious. I mean, it's not exactly concrete, but if we take a look at the image, it would be pretty hard to fake. Or at least who would go to this kind of effort to fake this? And why would it be in a Polish article talking about Dying Light 2? It just doesn't really make sense to be a fake. So I think it's very unlikely this is fake just from the detail on the map. And the fact, like I said before, who's really going to fake something like this? It just doesn't make sense to. It is interesting though that they said they are still waiting for the final version. As you can see, this is basically only showing the bottom half of Old Villador and the top left half of Central Loop. I am going to analyze this for you guys here. If you want to see that part, I'm going to do that right now. So just starting in the top left, we have the PK's hub, the main subway station. So this is actually going to be part of the subway station that leads into Central Loop. I was a little bit caught off guard as this is very far from Central Loop. As you can see, there's this whole space here, but we see this little bridge here. I'm assuming this is part of the subway still that crosses over, and everything on the surface is pretty much surrounded by toxic gas. Some other features we have in Old Villador: the water tower, a GRE laboratory, the Rose Garden, and an electrical station. So that seems to be everything in the bottom half of what we can see of Old Villador. We also do see out in the toxic gas here, which is interesting. I think it says reservatory military zone destroyed, dangerous. So it's going to be interesting to see how are we actually supposed to get over there, as it is inside of the toxic gas, possibly an underground area we have to travel to. So moving on past Old Villador, at the top right here we have something that says Night Runners, and then the other text we can't see. Possibly some sort of Night Runners location or central hub up here outside of both cities. Definitely very interesting, but really unable to see what exactly it is. It says, I saw a drop here, but couldn't get it. Maybe it's still there. And then it says, please check actual in-game location. So at first I wanted to say almost some sort of small Easter egg, but I'm really wondering, what is this map really made for? It seems like we could definitely rule out a pause screen map. I don't think this is what that is at all. It seems like maybe something that would be included in a collector's edition or maybe a pre-order of the game. Besides that, I'm thinking maybe some inside developer just notes here written down. So starting at the top left of Central Loop, we see a Courier's Guild, Downtown Court Subway, and the GRE Laboratory. So the downtown subway, I'm assuming, is where you actually come out of this area and come up from Old Villador. The Courier's Guild sounds like possibly something, some sort of messaging system. We heard about that one guy in like Dying to Know episode 3 or 2 or something. The guy that developed like a dating system, possibly some sort of system with messaging and different messages going out and in. That's what came to my mind initially when I thought of this Courier's Guild thing. Moving down, we have what says here a VNC tower. And then next to it, we have a Renegade outpost with a little mask here. And then it says Central Loop at the very bottom right there. And then also the blue text over here is hard to make out, but it looks like it says something like, this is the fuel logo or dual logo. Use it every is there. Something like that. It's hard to make out these last 5 words. And then even below that, they have the white text that says, let's try to make it something place. And then we also have a small bandit territory here, another GRE laboratory, the canteen, which looks like a place possibly to get food or water. I would guess mainly water. What I'm mainly thinking of right now is back in the day, we saw that PK drinking water out of the faucet or collecting water out of a faucet. I'm thinking of maybe that area. I really do forget if we've heard anything about the canteen anywhere else. We then have a survivor camp, Culvert Island, another GRE laboratory, another water tower down here. Up here we have Missy, the PK ship, the big PK ship. Definitely nice to see where this actually fits in on the map. And then down in this area we have another water tower, another GRE laboratory. What looks like to say Plague's Witch Shop or Plaw's Witch Shop, something like that. Looks like some sort of store where you can buy different things. An electrical station and then the cathedral. So now that we've gone through all of the different areas of this part of the map, let's talk about what I'm really thinking about this as an overview. The first thing that jumped to my mind is if we get a full version of this map, which I'm hoping we really do, and supposedly we're supposed to be getting, or at least that website is supposed to be getting, I'm hoping we see some details about wildcard factions down in the regions below. We see pretty much every major faction mentioned so far in this map: PKs, survivors, renegades, and bandits. I'm interested to see if down below in this other area of Central Loop, if we can possibly see a faction like the Untainted or some other wildcard faction. Also, just a quick thought, this area in the top right, just off of first glance, it's looking like, to me, it could possibly be some sort of DLC area. As we know, the only areas playable in the base game are going to be Old Villador and Central Loop. This area up here is not part of Central Loop, and it is not surrounded by toxic gas. So we could possibly see some sort of DLC where we traveled through this area up to the Night Runner area or whatever this is. What I thought was most interesting is how this shapes up against the other map we've seen of Dying Light 2. This has the different factions in it. And at this point, we're looking at basically these areas right here, which we thought would be controlled by the Peacekeepers, which we would assume would be the blue. And it's interesting that there's so many different bandits, survivors, renegades in this area, even though this seems to be under heavy control of the Peacekeepers. Possibly this could be a map before we have to go in and wipe them out if we choose to do that. I would not be surprised one bit if we had something like that. We've seen a lot of similarities in Dying Light 2 to Ubisoft games. This could possibly be another one where we have to go into an area and actually take out enemies, get it off of the map. And really what I'm going to be looking for over the course of the game is how these zones actually change. Let me know what you guys think about the leak down below. Thank you for watching the video. Like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe if you want more in the future. I will see you guys in the next one.